This is PC747 with the Next Up YouTube channel. This YouTube channel is geared towards those who are kind of new to tech or need someone to kind of break down smartphone tech in a way that it's keeping it real. You're not out there trying to put out a lot of big numbers or put out a lot of big words. You're just breaking it down so that the average person can pick it up and get an idea where they stand and whether this works for them. For today's question, and this was brought about for me just looking around and really the big topic for the week. Is the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 worth buying? So last week, Samsung unveiled their Samsung Galaxy phone, and it was the Note 10 and Note 10 Plus. And with a lot of people right now, they're liking the Note 10 Plus other than the price. But what they hung up on is the Note 10. They feel like Samsung went in and watered down the product. So for a lot of people out there, they want to know, look, I don't care what all these big YouTubers or tech people are saying. Break it down for me. Why I should not buy this phone. So let's go ahead and start with give you a basic, quick, and simple idea where this phone stands as far as specs. Now, as far as the size of the phone, 6.3 inches, it's going to be around your average size or average large size. So for most of you guys, you're going to be pretty comfortable with that. 8 gigabytes of RAM, that's up there where I would say above average for a smartphone. It's not up there quite 10 gigabytes or 12 gigabytes, but it's pretty sustainable. You're going to have more than enough RAM to do whatever you need to do with this phone. 3,500 milliamp hour battery. It's on average. That's okay. With fast charging, you'll make it through the day. I don't think you have a problem, especially with the display they're packing with this. You're going to have 3 cameras on the rear: telephoto, wide, and ultra wide. In other words, you're going to be able to take pretty much any shot you want to take, and you're going to be just okay with it. As far as internals, you're looking at the latest Snapdragon 855 processor. Basically, all your phones, your smartphones out right now, flagship-wise, are running that processor. So you're not getting cheated out there. Software-wise, you're getting Android 9.0, which is the latest software that Google has out right now, unless you're running a Pixel, running the beta software. But for most of you guys out there, you're going to be okay with that. It's not like something that you're going to feel like you're running behind with. Now, Samsung do have an issue when it comes to updating their phones. They're kind of a little behind other manufacturers sometimes. But for most people, most of you guys out there, you're probably not going to care about that. That's not going to be something to hang you up. So, I want to go ahead and say you're going to be fine with that. As far as some of the things you're going to like, the fingerprint sensor, they went away from the fingerprint sensor on the rear and went to an in-glass fingerprint sensor, similar to what you've seen with the Samsung Galaxy S10 and S10 Plus. As far as SD card, you don't have one, and they removed the headphone jack. So for a lot of you out there, you're using Bluetooth headphone anyway, so you're not going to really be concerned about it. But if you're someone who likes to travel a lot, or you still like to use the traditional headphones, this may be a problem for you, because this is like Samsung doing a 180 as they went back to going with 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, and to remove that, I can see some of you guys are not going to like that. But this is where a lot of people are hung up on, and that is the PPI, or pixel per inch. And they're currently going with the screen of 1080 by 2280, which is 401 pixel per inch. So most of you out there, you're like, okay, what is this thing about pixel per inches? Now, a lot of us, you're not going to really notice it unless you compare phones. But it's basically looking at a display and how many pixels you can get in it. So the more pixels you can get in an inch or in that display, the better the resolution. The more crisp that you're going to see. So when you're watching movies, when you playing games or something like that, it's going to just look much better. And the main reason people are hung up on it is because when you look at this display, especially when you look at the price of this phone, because this phone is going to cost you $950 just base price alone. That's not including your taxes. That's not including whatever they're going to charge you to activate something or activate your phone or whatever else other fees they're going to slap on there. About the time they slap anything they're going to slap on this phone, it may end up costing them around close to $1,000 when you walk out the door, unless you catch one of these deals where basically you walking out with just shy of $1,000, right around $960, $970, depending on, again, taxes, the store you go to, and what else you decide to buy with it. And what's hanging up a lot of people with this is when you take that spec alone, the PPI, and you compare it to some of the other phones out there. One in particular, the Motorola G7. The reason why I bring this up, because if you go to Best Buy, you're going to see that this phone is actually displayed in their unlocked phone, and this is their mid tier phone. And this phone costs you right around 250, $300. Now, it's not going to be able to compete with Samsung in as far as the RAM. It got half the RAM as the Samsung Note 10. It don't have nearly as good of a camera or as many cameras. And as far as battery size, you're looking at only 3,000 milliamp hour. But where people are going to look at this phone and say, all right, let's look at the display. 1080 by 2270 pixels. As far as pixel per inches, 405, that is more than the Galaxy Note 10. And then you go to the Pixel 3a, which we know was Google's budget phone. 1080 by 2220, 440 pixels per inches. That, again, is more than the Note 7 or Note 10, and that's going to cost you around $400. The OnePlus 7 Pro, the phone I have, will cost you around $700. Walking out the door with everything, the pixel per inch is there. It's actually much better. You're looking at 1440 by 3120, that was 560 ppi. This phone is crisp, and as far as specs wise, you're getting 12 gigabytes of RAM, 4,000 milliamp hour battery, 6.67 inch display. Overall, this is more of probably a better buy compared to that one. It's cheaper, and I think everything you're going to look for in the Note 10, you'll be able to get it in that phone. Then let's compare it to last year's Note 9, where you have 1440 by 2960, basically 560 ppi. So last year's Note has a better display than this year's Note 10. And you will likely be able to get last year's Note 9 much cheaper than this year's Note 10. Another phone I really want to compare it to, I think it's really fitting to compare it to this phone right here, the Samsung Galaxy S10e, where this phone, 5.8 inch screen, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 3100 milliamp hour battery, 1080 by 2280, 438 pixels per inches. So even the S10e, which Samsung admit to it being the budget S10, has a better display than the Note 10. So for a lot of experts out there, anyone that's in tech, the Note 10 is not a good buy. They feel like if you jump on this, you're basically getting robbed on this because of what you're paying for it and what you want to get out of it. Now, if you take specs aside, you just throw it away for a second and just look at, in general, what people is going to compare this to. Last year's iPhone XR, Apple did the exact same thing. A lot of your spec people came out there, your tech reviewers and tech experts said, look, you have mid-tier phones that have better displays than that, and yet Apple's going to sell this for this price. There's no way you guys should go out there and buy it. What ended up happening? It ended up being one of Apple's best-selling phones. Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to people and what they buy, they only care about one, their wallet, and two, when you go to the store and you look at the display, I mean, you really look at it, you're not going to really be able to notice the difference as far as putting it up against another phone, unless you really zoom in to see the difference there, or you're watching a movie that really is able to show off the display. But for most of you guys, you're not going to notice it, and you're going to feel like, well, I don't get what all these people are complaining about this display. I don't see anything wrong with it, because you're not. When I went into Best Buy to look at the phone myself and compare the Note 10 to the Note 10 Plus as far as the display, I really could go up there and say, all right, man, I could tell that one was better than the other, but it wasn't so much so where it's like, this is drastically better than the other. What it was is just numbers-wise, we know one phone is better than the other. And this is something that you're going to look at when you go in there. And so to answer your question, is the Note 10 a good buy? I would actually recommend you guys actually look at maybe the S10 or S10 Plus, because you can likely pick that phone up at a much cheaper deal right now, because this phone has been out for so long, about so long, 3 or 4 months, and the smartphone era is literally considered long. You can probably get this on a really good deal compared to the Note 10, which you're going to pay for that. Now, if you're someone who really want the S Pen, you really want this phone, you really don't care what people are saying about the display, hey, go ahead and pick it up. I think when it comes to this phone, It has enough of the goodies that Samsung offer. It has enough of the cameras, enough of the software tweaks that is going to make you feel like you're getting a Samsung phone and you enjoy what you have. And for a lot of you out there who don't care about specs, you don't care about this, you're not going to really feel like you lost out. But if you really care about value, you really care about getting the most for your money, and this is a big deal for you, yeah, I would recommend passing on and either picking up an older Note 10, or I'm sorry, older Note 9, picking up a OnePlus 7 Pro, some of these other phones, or if you really wanted this year's Note, maybe step up to the Note 10 Plus. But at the end of the day, all that matters are the customers, and I really think this is going to end up being a good selling phone, a big selling phone, and no matter what a lot of us tech people say, no matter what all we're bringing out here as far as specs, no matter all the opinions we're putting out there, all the facts we're bringing out there, no matter what the numbers we're putting out there, people care about one thing, and that is price. Yeah, they can go to the store and walk out there, feeling like they got a good deal. They're gonna walk out. And for a lot of customers, especially with a lot of hype that's gonna be for this phone, you're gonna have a lot of stores, especially of Verizon, At&t, that's gonna have a lot of Note banner out there. They're gonna go out there looking at the Note 10. They're gonna see the cost of the Note 10 Plus. They're gonna go to the rep and say, hey, what's the difference between the Note 10, Note 10 Plus? The only thing that the rep gonna point out is the size of the display being a little bit smaller, and that's pretty much it. And so for most people, they're not gonna realize that as far as the display density or the PPI, that's a big deal. So they're gonna say, all right, the only difference is the size of the display that makes this thing, one $1,000 and one under $1,000. Well, give me the one that's under $1,000. I don't care about having that big of a display anyway. I'm good. And at the end of the day, that's what people are going to end up gravitating to. So for you out there who actually taking the time to study, to figure out, is this a good buy for me or which route I should go, you now have the information, the tools to know what you're getting in when you go to these stores.